Budget woes, bureau closures and layoffs, those headlines have long been associated with the commercial network news. Now, though, that's happening at PBS NewsHour, and it's prompting some rethinking of public television's signature newscast. For almost 40 years, PBS's venerable NewsHour has been a gold standard of quality broadcast journalism.
581 political dissidents have either died as a result of being tortured or been executed.
Originally named the McNeil-Lehrer Report after co-hosts Robin McNeil and Jim Lehrer, the half-hour show expanded into the NewsHour in 1983.
When we return on Monday night, it will be in our new format.
But now that format may be outmoded. A New York Times report cites critics calling the NewsHour too slow-moving, even boring, and says the rotating cast of anchors since Jim Lehrer's retirement has left viewers confused.
I don't care if they get that news on a pink iPod or something sticking in their ear or anywhere else, as long as they get the information.
That was Jim Lehrer in 2010 when the NewsHour unveiled a new look and a much expanded website.
I am joined through the magic of the internet and laptops.
But as ratings decline, so does corporate underwriting, which forced the NewsHour to seek emergency cash infusions from PBS in order to meet payroll. The program has also announced layoffs and the closure of 2 bureaus to make up a $7 million budget shortfall. NewsHour says it will continue to modernize but remains committed to long-form journalism.
The PBS NewsHour is the news brave enough not to take sides and strong enough not to shout.
Sometimes raising your voice can be a good thing. Well, I'm going to state the obvious. We come right after the NewsHour, and it's a PBS. Well, it's not really a PBS production. It's actually a McNeil-Lehrer production, and that's something else that people don't understand. It's actually their production, and they say it's not profit, but they need to make a profit in order to make that thing work. I don't know. I mean, we've long had some concern about the NewsHour that it's very, very slow moving, and it doesn't deliver us a big audience either. And I think the problem is that they really like to do what they call mini documentaries, within the newscast. Some of those are really, really good. Some of them are just way too long. And listen, people's attention span is much shorter than it used to be. So you start flipping off, and before you know it, you don't go back, you go somewhere else. I'm wondering if maybe they shouldn't go back to the half hour. And I also do think they need a primary anchor, because I'm confused sometimes. I thought, which one is this? And certain people I like better than others, and I think you have to bite that bullet. There's a reason why I watch CBS, and it's because of Scott Pelley.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the mini documentaries. It's the endless talking head segments that drive me crazy. Every so often, I will try to give the NewsHour another chance. I say, gee, I'm not being fair. I'm going to sit down and watch this. I can't watch it. No. And I think Jay Rosen made a really good observation today. He said, not only is it talking heads, but generally it's, well, let's hear from somebody from the Brookings Institution and the Heritage Foundation. Well, let's not, okay? I mean, I am a devoted NPR listener. Yeah. To me, it is so much more interesting and faster moving, and it manages to do that without pandering or dumbing down in the least. And the NewsHour has got to get with the program.
Ouch. Wow, glad I didn't say that.
Callie? There has to be some updating that has to happen. I'm still on the fence about. So for me, I enjoy the rotating anchors, but I take your point. I really do, because people want to feel connected sometimes with one person, and that becomes the identity of the show. You just have to make sure you choose well. I thought it was great when they got Hari Srinivasan to do the web stuff. He's great. He came from CBS, and they've been, really sort of pushing in that direction as they've gone. I think what people are expressing is it's taken too long to get there. But the other point that's been raised several times is that, as if it was a criticism, is that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation did not re-up. They'd given them a grant, a big one, and then they didn't. But they usually do it one time. That's their thing. So that's not a criticism per se on the program. That's just how they operate. And I think that, to your point, there are interesting talking heads, and then sometimes they're not. And it's okay to try to get outside the box and get some fresh voices of people who may represent the same thing but come from different places. I think what the NewsHour has tried to do and accomplished very well is that when he gets to these hot button issues where people come at it emotionally without facts often, they try to find the people that really know what they're talking about. And I have to say, I heard just recently the single best, just understanding of what was going on with some of that gun legislation, some of the details of it. So, oh, that's what they meant, because I just don't get it in some of the places.
That's exactly what their brand should be, if you ask me, what you just described. The place you go to get the deeper, more complex, more intelligent reporting that you're not getting elsewhere. Otherwise, they have a segment, well, let's recap the day's headlines. No, I can get that a trillion other places. I don't need that from you. Talking heads are cheap. That's why cable and PBS rely on them. If they did in-depth mini documentaries for the whole hour, it would add to their costs. So they're facing the same dilemma that just about all other news organizations are facing. Where do we fit into this new news universe where there are so many options for people? And the answer is just not quite that easy, even though Callie just came up with it.
Well, and they're trying to do the same thing that CNN has been trying to do with limited success, be the sort of the middle of the road arbiter of truth that isn't on the far right or the far left. And, their struggles and CNN's struggles raise a question, I think, about whether people want that, in particular, whether they want it from TV in a talk-driven format. You throw in the fact, as you mentioned in the intro, Emily, that they do that in a very quiet, subdued way. And it's not necessarily a recipe for success.
CNN has resorted to Jodi Arias and that lung baby story. That's the way they're trying to solve their problem.
That's a pretty